Comedy Mushroom Cult Podcast. Starting this over. We got the microphone back, so it should sound better for everybody involved. Maybe not the video, but fuck that. I mean, the video is important, and I already swore right off the bat. That's not a great start. Fuck the algorithm, honestly. Like, what do we need success for, really? I mean, what are we doing this for? No, but welcome. We got the microphone back, so everything should sound better. We've got video rolling. Welcome to the new red couch. Welcome to my new clear big city glasses. This is the first one from Chicago, 60640. If you want to try to track me down, shout out Uptown, Chicago. But no, it's exciting. This has been quite the week. We are pretty much moved in now. My hair looks a little wonky, but that's okay. We still have to like put the final touches on everything, but we're unpacked and we're getting into the swing of things. If you can hear motors and engines and fucking buses and fire trucks and ambuli and fucking just every sort of noise ever. Sorry. That's life in the big city. You get used to it. You don't think that you would. It's like one of those things that it feels like people just tell themselves just so they get used to like some bullshit that they don't want to deal with. Like, I don't know, I had friends who like had train tracks that like ran behind their house, and they'd be like, oh, after so long you get used to it. And I always felt like that was nonsense. Like, I felt like that was horseshit. You don't get used to a fucking freight train going through your backyard. But our apartment's kind of close to like a hospital, so there's like ambuli going all the time, and they do a really good job of actually at nighttime not blowing the sirens unless they absolutely have to. So that's cool. And from time to time you get a little bit of noise at night, but it's really strange. Like, when you think of like a big city, you think of noise all the time, which during the day there's no need for it to be this noisy. Like, I tried to say it on stage last night, but people who have like lived here for a while are probably used to it, and it's been a week, and like I sleep better maybe than ever, and now I'm walking around everywhere and bopping around and like walking miles a day that I didn't used to, just because that's what you do in the big city instead of drive everywhere. Is you walk to the fucking train, then you sit on the train for a while, trying not to like catch the attention of anybody, try not to make any eye contact with anybody, except for like I'll wear sunglasses most of the time because it's summertime, and summertime shy, to quote a famous anti-Semite from Chicago. But it's beautiful during the summertime, but like it's bright, so you gotta wear your sunglasses. And like sometimes I forget that I'm not wearing my sunglasses, so like people can see me like look, not judging, but like, you know, when you like do like a sideways glance, or like you're looking out the window but you're also kind of like looking at somebody. Like, let's say you're at the beach. Everybody's been to the beach. Not everybody has to take the L. That's one of my biggest... We'll come back to this sunglass thing. But, like, that's one of my biggest things that I'm actively trying to fight. Especially since I just moved here, and, like, it's a new experience, and, like, a way that I process things is writing jokes. Like, sitting down, writing it out. Like, you're supposed to, like, write a journal and stuff, and, like, that's good for your mental health. Sure. But I had a therapist once who said, like, hey, do you, like, write down what you're going through? And I was like, yeah, all the time. I'm a comic. Like, that's what I make jokes about, is what I'm going through in life and stuff. And she's like, no. Do you have, like, a journal just to write it where you're not trying to be funny? Just a place where you can process things. And I was like, who? Absolutely not. Like, why would I write twice? Like, oh, I'm just supposed to write in a journal? Like, I have a Safe Journal. This podcast isn't sponsored by Safe Journal, but Zoltan Kazis and his wife have a company for Safe Journals. You can order them. They're great, but I already like write enough that like I don't use it regularly. Like it's a great tool, and I feel better when I do use it. But then I feel like when I write in my journal, I write less in my normal thing, and I know it's like my job and I'm supposed to. But like, who wants to write all the time? Like, who wants to talk all the time? That's where like some days you're at work and like you have to like do customer service and talk to people and be like, hey, please, I'm doing a good job. Give me tips so I can pay rent and whatnot. And then like you don't feel like doing comedy because you've been entertaining people all day like a dancing bear. The last thing you want to do is go on stage and do it. And like there was a guy at the mic last night who was like, oh, I'm in sales, so like this has been like nice for me to like explain this, or like now I feel better. And it's like, cool, man, like it's great, get a therapist. Like when people are like comedy feels like therapy, no, it's not. As somebody who's done comedy for almost 10 years and somebody who's done therapy a handful of times in that same amount of time, it's way different. Because if you have a good therapist, they don't give a fuck about your bits at all. But anyways, I don't know how that oh yeah, I don't want to write jokes about, like, the thing that I don't want to do is I don't want to write jokes about just city things. I always hate that. Like when people move to a big city, and it's always like, it's very funny to be like, oh, Chicago's a big city, but it's like the third biggest city in the U.S. Working towards fourth. Shout out Houston. I think we talked about this on the last one, but like, I understand why people do, because that's where like they're doing most of their sets, is like they're talking to city people, so they want city laughs, so they're going to talk about city things. But then when you go on the road and you're like, oh wow, I was sitting on the L, nobody knows what the fuck the L is. Like depending on where you're at, like the L could be like a giant joint, you know, like you're not doing that. Or you go into like fucking, like, sure, Chicago suburbs would know it, but like if I go back to fucking Milwaukee, there's no like public transit. Like there's the buses, but like I'm not gonna sit there and be like, oh, so I was sitting on the red line. So like I don't want this to be like a city podcast. I don't want it to be city jokes. That's why I've honestly, like, on my Instagram been making fun of me turning into Big City Ray, because yes, I live in the city, I want to be part of the city life, but I don't want to like lose that like, hey, kind of fuck the city kind of edge. You know what I mean? Like, I love Chicago. I love the vibe. The noise, yes, it's a lot. You don't need this. They could deal with 15 to 20% less noise. I expect some noise, but like not all of this noise is necessary. Like yes, it's a big city, but it's still the Midwest. So like, what do we need all of this noise for? Right? Like, like when people are like yelling on the phone and shit, like what do you have to yell about? Like, yeah, life is busy and you're in the big city and hustle and bustle and whatnot, but you're still in Illinois. Like that's not, you know, like if you're in fucking New York City or California, or even let's say if you're in Houston, like those are like, you're in New York, you're in Texas, you're in California, like those feel like you should have some shit to talk about. It's still Illinois. Like you drive an hour east, you're in Indiana, and nobody would be like, oh, big city Indiana. Like, no. Like if you talk about like Indianapolis, people are like, what the fuck, who cares? Like, yeah, it's a nice city-ish, but like nobody gives a fuck. So you're still in like, so it's just kind of silly. But no, so like I'll be wearing sunglasses on the train, or like that was the example, like if you're at the beach and you're in sunglasses, you can get away with people watching a little bit better. Not entirely checking out chicks that are there. Like we went to the beach on the 4th of July. It was great. We live 10 minutes from the beach. We take a walk. We take our beach chairs. We take a little cooler. We have a fucking stroller, not a stroller, a wagon that we use for groceries. But like it's a 10-minute walk to the beach, and like there's people of all different shapes, sizes, ages, fucking ethnicities, fucking species. Like, there's everything. And so, like, you'll have like a certified 10 on the beach, and like it's not doing dudes much help these days. And like, yes, feel safe in whatever you're in. I'm not judging. Sex positive all the way. Women, wear whatever the fuck you want. This isn't one of those like, what was she wearing kind of statements. But like, if you have your ass hanging out at the beach, like, it's gonna be seen. And like, there's only so much you can do. Like, yeah, I saw it, all right? And I'm in a committed relationship. I've been with the same person for 9 years. And I'm not, like, actively, like, creeping on people. And obviously, like, sure, like, just being common decency means, like, not checking out other women in front of your significant other. Or even, like, if you're a woman, not checking out other men. Or if you're non-binary, not checking out other things or people in front of your person, you know? Like, that's just common decency. That's like being nice. That's taking consideration of your partner, boyfriend, girlfriend, they friend, polycule. We're trying to be as inclusive as we can. And like, that's taking their feelings into accord. But if like a fucking 10 out of 10 is in front of you with their ass out, which, like, that seems to be the style for bathing suits now, whether or not, which, again, it's, you know, like the old hacky joke of, like, hey, if you're fat, don't wear a tube top. Like, wear a tube top if you want, if you're fat, but also just, like, know that it doesn't look the best. And I mean, that's not, like, if you feel great, that's great. Like, but you're putting that out into the world. Like, I'm not going to be sitting here in my I was thinking about doing it in my tank top, but I don't want that on the internet. Like, I don't want people to see that. I know that that doesn't look great. I kind of look okay in clothes. Like, I'm not going to put, like, more of my naked body out there. But, like, whatever. So, like, the style is, like, asses out in bathing suits, which I don't know if I just haven't been spending a lot of time at the beach or in bathing suits lately, and that's maybe been the style forever, but like, cool. But like, your ass is going to be seen, and I know that's the point of the bathing suit, and I know it's to feel sexy and feel good about yourself and blah. But the point is to have your ass seen, right? So it's going to be there. So like, whether you want to or not, you're gonna see 100 asses in a half hour being at the beach, and you don't stare, you don't linger, but like, you have sunglasses on. So like, if your eyes wander, or like if you get caught, not even get caught, but like if just subconsciously you focus on a butt for like half a second longer than you normally would, no harm, no foul. You're in sunglasses, nobody sees it. People could look you directly in the eye and not know whether or not they're looking you directly in the eye. And so it's fine. But, like, you do that for, like, the not 10s. You do that for the 4s. And we're talking males, females, anybody. But, like, from my point of view as a man, you'll look at, like, less attractive women as well. You'll look at crazy-looking dudes. Like, we were at a pool party this past Saturday, and I was with, like, a 6'3" Asian dude who was ripped, like, chiseled out of fucking stone. And you're like, they don't make that where I'm from. And I just need to, like, fucking look at this dude. Like, he's a great looking dude, and like, to not compare myself to him is insane. Like, oh, I have a lot of work to do. I mean, I'll never be 6'3" and Asian, but like, I could maybe work out from time to time to try to maybe look like that. Like, that's an offering that's out there in the world to be available. And when you're in sunglasses, you can sneak a couple extra looks like that. Same thing on the train. You can, like, kind of get away with, like, a little side glance and, like, looking at somebody and, like, taking an extra look without doing it. But, like, sometimes I forget to put my sunglasses on. Like, yesterday on the way back from the mic that I was at, it wasn't as sunny because it was later in the day. Like, I left the day at 4:30 and I came back on the train at, like, 7. So, I mean, the sun's still out, but it's not as sunny, so I don't need my sunglasses on. So I have my regular glasses on, but I'm used to being in sunglasses on the train at that point in the day, because I had my sunglasses on the train earlier. And So then you kind of are like looking out the window and kind of make eye contact with somebody, and you're like, how's this motherfucker seeing my eyes? Oh, it's because I have my regular glasses on. You dumb dipshit. Like, you just kind of forget that's a possibility, and I just need to like learn the reflex of like keeping on my own shit. So I don't know, I've been trying to meditate on the train. I read it in a book when I was in college that like the guy meditates on the train, and it's very cool. Because like it's like nice short like little micro meditations that I like to do while on the train, because you can kind of like, okay, I'm here. Like, I could be reading, I could be fucking around on my phone, but like it's basic. Like, if you could just chill while you're driving, that'd be great. Like, that's the cool thing about like those shitty Teslas, is like they allegedly drive themselves. Like, do they run people over sometimes? Sure. Do they wait until the very last second to merge onto the highway? Being fucking ridiculous. Like, when people merge onto the highway and let like the auto drive, like, what are you doing? I understand once you're on the highway, cool, let it do what it's gonna do. But getting onto the highway where it's like doing exactly 55 on the ramp, and then it's in the way of everybody trying to get in there, and then as soon as you're like, no, fuck this, I'm going around it, that's when it decides to merge over. Like, no, fuck you, Tesla, fuck you, Elon Musk, and fuck you, anybody who's buying Teslas at this point. Like, we know that they're not good. You're just buying it because you're a fucking dick. Like, you're being a contrarian at this point when you're buying a Tesla, especially like the Cybertrucks. Those fucking stupid things. That's been one of the nice things about being. I haven't seen a single Cybertruck since I've been here. That's awesome. I've seen more fucking. I saw like a Maserati. I saw a fucking Lamborghini. I've seen like so many other nice, cool, actually interesting cars. And I've seen zero Cybertrucks. When there was a Cybertruck in fucking Waukesha. Okay? And those are the people who are like trying to be like, we're modern and we're fucking cool and we're different and we don't believe the way that things are being run right now, which, like, fair, but like, you can do it without spending fucking $80,000 on a Polygon. All right, you don't need to. You're not fooling anybody. Like, nobody, literally nobody is going, those are cool, other than people who own them and people who have Elon Musk's balls down their throat and like want to like. People who want clout on the internet and own Tesla stock. Those are the only people who are impressed with Tesla or Elon Musk at this point. Do I use Twitter, X, whatever they want to call it? Sure, I use it. Hulu was down last night. How else am I supposed to know when other apps are down, when other than going on Twitter? That's what it's good for. Like, it's a public bulletin board. It's a group text for people to go in there and be like, hey, Hulu's down. Is anybody else having that problem? What we don't need is when people are like, hey, me coming on X to check to see if Hulu's down and seeing it's down. Like, yeah. That's been a joke for fucking 15 years at this point. We don't need that joke. We can just be like, okay, yeah, Hulu's down, my Hulu's down as well. We all see that Hulu's down. We don't have green drink today. I do need to make my green drink. My apartment building is doing something with the water lines, so they shut the water off allegedly at 10. I haven't tested it to see if they actually did it, but they sent us an email saying that it was going to be shut off today at 10, so to like save up water and whatnot. So I mean, I got some water ready, but I went and got coffee at Everybody's Coffee in Uptown Chicago. Shout out them. They don't sponsor me either. It'd be cool if they did. It'd be cool if they hired me to have a job. That'd be cool too. But like, because, I mean, it would be great to, like, work at a coffee shop that I can walk to. Not to give out my fucking location. That's the cool part about living in a city as well. It's like, I could almost tell you my exact location, and you still wouldn't be able to find me. You know what I mean? Like, that's wonderful. If I'm, like, in the suburbs, or, like, if I go, hey... Perfect example. When I worked in Waukesha, I could say, hey, I live in Springdale Apartments. They know where Springdale Apartments are. They know where Springdale Road is. They know where all of that is. I can say the cross street, and I'm not going to, because our friend who currently not really on speaking terms, who's going through his mental breakdown, like cited my name on some paperwork saying that he's trying to make me be a witness in some sort of, we don't need to put all of that out there, but whatever. I'm not putting my address out there because I don't want to be found by this fucking psycho. But like, we don't need, like, I could tell you almost the building that I live in and you wouldn't be able to find me. My building's got over 14 floors, and there's a 1,000 people that live here. I don't know, 500 people. I don't know how many people live in my building, but like, you can't find me if you knew what my building was. I can tell you that I live in uptown Chicago. You can't, like, there's a million people that live in uptown. I don't know how many people, but like, I'm one of a billion in this city, basically. Nobody gives a fuck, which is fun. It kind of sucks going to open mics and not having like any sort of sway on like knowing how I do things, and knowing that I'm fucking around on things and like making new impressions and whatnot. But like, it's nice just being like, all right, cool, I can just kind of flow through, like I can go through the flow here. I don't have to worry about somebody like remembering me or knowing what I'm doing at all times, or like I don't have to be like stupid nice to like some person that I'll probably never see again for no reason. Like, I'm not rude. It's the same thing as like being anywhere else. You're not rude. You're nice to people. You're polite. You're kind. You try to make everybody's life as easy as it can be. But also, like, I don't have to bend over backwards to deal with somebody's bullshit because I'll probably never see most of these people again. Like, there was a lady, we were down in the South Loop on Saturday, went to a pool party, we're leaving, everything was good, we're walking to the train, and some lady like came up to us and was like, excuse me, sir, I'm a citizen and this Uber driver is harassing me. And it was like a middle-aged old white lady who was being followed around by like a younger-ish Middle Eastern dude who could have probably been an Uber driver. But as soon as you start a statement with, excuse me, I'm a citizen, I'm inclined to think that you're wrong. And since I live in the city now, and there's umpteen million people who live here, and I'll maybe never see you again, I can tell you, like, hey, the police exist. You're an older white woman who apparently probably loves to gargle cop dick because you start your statements with I'm a citizen, and I don't even know if this person was an Uber driver or maybe that's some like weird dog whistle that you're doing, but I can tell you to go call the cops. Hey, cops exist. I'm not gonna, what does this have to do with me? This is your problem. Now, if it seemed dangerous, like, yeah, was he like floating by her, like recording her? That makes me think that she's wrong, right? Like, if a dude is an Uber driver and it's his job in his mind, and call it stereotypical, call it racist, we'll call it whatever, but it's the same thing as, we'll make this a multifaceted thing. The corner store was open on 4th of July because it's a couple Middle Eastern dudes that run the fucking thing. They don't care about 4th of July. Maybe they do care about 4th of July, but they care about money more. Like, they care about their corner store and, like, providing for their family more. So you know that's going to be open on the 4th of July. They don't, like, they can watch fireworks and spend time with their family during some other time. Corner store is going to be open. You can go buy snacks. Fucking Lebanese people who run Subway stores. They're the best people who run, I'll die on this hill. The best Subways are run by Lebanese people. Do you know why? Because Lebanese people just care about the fucking money. Do they love this country? Sure. Rest in peace, Pete Bearcat. He loved this country. Do you know what he loved more? Fucking money. All right, he's going to find ways to make more money, whether that's defrauding certain government stuff and whatnot. Sure, maybe. But, like, he cares about money more than he cares about the fucking 4th of July or whatever. So he's going to do what it takes for him to get money. Same thing with a Middle Eastern Uber driver. They're not doing Uber because they want to. They're doing it because it's a quick way for them to make money. Not quick, you know what I mean. Like, it's a way for them to make money outside of the system a little bit. So for him to be out of his car where he makes more money following you, videotaping you, I feel like you're probably in the wrong here. If he's wasting time like videotaping old white lady instead of going and doing Uber rides or fucking taxi rides or Lyft or whatever the fuck else he does, delivering Uber Eats, if he's fucking with you instead of making money, you're probably wrong. He's not doing that for no reason. You're getting in the way of this dude making money. The reason why he's probably following you is because you're fucking with his money. So just pay the fucking guy. Like, don't be weird about it. But that's the point. Like, I don't, like, in a small town, I would have probably known that lady and had to have been like, well, let's try to figure this out. Because then I'll see her, and then she'll be like, well, this is the person who didn't help me last time, and they're not a good person. And it's like, no, you're just probably up to some bullshit, and you're trying to suck me into it. Here, I can be like, hey, I've got my own shit to deal with. If something is like actually dangerous, or if somebody feels unsafe, or something seems unsafe, of course, let's help. Let's do that. Let's be a good human being. But if you're on some horse shit and you're causing somebody a problem in their day and you're trying to drag me into it, I have no problem being like, hey, cops exist, give them a call if it's up to that. If it's not up to that, you're probably wrong. Sorry somebody's hassling you, but maybe you shouldn't be a dick. I think that that's fair. Don't drag me into fucking fixing your problem. Especially just because because I'm a white dude walking by in the situation, you think that I'm gonna, like, be on your team automatically? That's weird. That's why you start your sentence with, I'm a citizen. What you probably did is you probably requested an Uber. He got there. You saw it was like a Middle Eastern person, and you canceled it because you didn't want somebody who's quote-unquote not a citizen to take care of you. Now you have to deal with it, all right? Sorry about your racism. Don't drag me into it. Just because, it's happened to me before. I don't know if I've told the story, but, like, when I was a younger single man, I was in a situationship with a younger woman who was good looking, and we would go to, like, did she have a boyfriend? Sure. Was it, like, the best part of my life? No. But we all do stupid things, and like, we were walking into a store, and some older dude pulled me aside, and he's like, oh, I hope you're doing stuff with that. And it's like, hey, man, that could be my sister. Just because I'm another dude, do not pull me aside and tell me shit like that. Like, cool. I guess at some point that would be seen as, like, some sort of respect thing of, like, hey, good job with that. But, like, that's another human being. She's smart sometimes. Like, was she a nice person? No. Was she somebody that, like, now, if somebody would, like, objective, I'd probably be like, yeah, man, that's all she's got going for her. Hopefully she's a better person now, but at that point, that's all she had going for her. But, like, no, you don't know that. Like, that could be my cousin. That could be my sister. And you're pulling me aside being like, hey, I hope you're banging that. Like, that's not okay. Don't bring people into your bullshit. Don't drag them into it. If they want to be part of it, they'll be part of it. Or they'd even, like, pull you. Like, imagine if I went up to you and I was like, hey, see that chick? We're doing it. You know what I mean? Like, that'd be weird for me to pull you into that. Imagine. And so, like, for you to come up to me and be like, hey, I hope you're. Like, no. You shouldn't hope that, okay? You shouldn't, because who the fuck knows? I could have stolen her from somewhere, and you're like, hey, shout out you. You can't do that. But no, it's nice. Moving sucked. Moving always sucks. It was like a pretty seamless move. Like, packing was easy, traveling down here was easy. The buddy, JL Kirking, shout out him, full name and everything, because he's the man. When people offer to help you do things, it's very easy just to be like, hey, I don't really need help moving. And we didn't really need help, like, moving boxes and shit, but, like, she has a car, I have a car, and we had a moving truck. So, like, I was going to have to drive the moving truck down here, do all the heavy lifting, then drive the moving truck back up to Waukesha, then pick up my car and drive all the way back down here. But I asked a good friend and a good person if they could, like, yeah, I don't entirely need your help moving. Like, everything's packed. I don't even need your help, like, getting rid of the boxes if you don't want to, or, like, moving stuff into the apartment if you don't want to. He drove my car down here and then drove the moving truck back up to Wisconsin for me. That was very nice of him. You don't need to do that, but, like, that even made it, like, that was going to be the hardest part. Being 34 and moving sucks because, like, I mean, it took me out of commission for a couple of days because my body hurt real bad. But other than that, like, it was easy. It was great. We've had a snafu within the last day or so with the apartment here, other than the water being turned off. Like, that's regular maintenance. That's going to happen. They gave us a heads up. But we have a little issue going on that I have to deal with today and over the next couple of days that we're not going to be quite public with yet because I want to give them the chance to do the right thing. But I think that it's good to put them on notice. Like, hey, I currently don't have a day job. We're fine. Money's okay at this point. We ended up getting some saved up. Everything's good. Don't have to worry about rent for quite a while. Obviously, we would love to have some more income coming in. So, like, book me for your shows. That'd be much preferred just to do comedy for a living because not having to do much during the day and then going out at night, that kind of rules. Yesterday, didn't do much, like, read most of the day. I mean, I did some paperwork, had to do, like, some online work, shit like that. But, like, not having to, like, do other people's job or, like, work for someone else and then going and doing open mics at night, that rules. Like, I can do that life. Now, would it be better if I was getting paid for that time? Yes. So, like, book me on your stupid shows. But, like, it rules that I'm able just to, like, not do anything during the day. So, like, I've got time. I've got nothing but time to make your life, not your life, your job and your business. I've got nothing better to do than throw a wrench in that. You've thrown a wrench in my life currently, and you've made living a little uncomfortable in a spot that's supposed to be great. It's supposed to be a good reset, and it's been great. We've had, like, if this is as bad as it gets, we've got very little to complain about, but it's still not the best thing in the world. So what I'm saying is, other than having that wrench thrown in there, it's great here, and I just need everybody to know that when I start going off about things, it's a for a good reason, and I need it to be known that, like, people. The same thing as, like, that lady dragging you into a situation. I wouldn't drag somebody else into the situation, but I would make it known what's going on. I'm not going to start the sentence with, I'm a citizen, and this apartment is being unreasonable. Like, I'm not going to do that. But, like, I'm not going to, like, do anything illegal. I'm not going to, like, set a fire or, like, cause any damage to your, like, property. But, like, I will make it known to everybody that your apartment company's not being helpful. Like, we'll fucking throw a bitch fit. I have there's nothing more that and I've said it on here before, there is nothing more than a justified bitch fit that I love. Like, at a certain point in my life, I was looking for fights. I was looking for reasons to be a cunt online and, like, to, like, go off and, like, yell at people or argue with people and get into battles, and I don't want to do that anymore. But, like, is it fun sometimes? Sure. Do I enjoy it? Yes. Do I want to be a sassy bitch, like, all the time? Great. I'm not looking for it, but every once in a while, like, it's nice to know that I'm here. Like, you want to be, like, you only adopted the darkness, right? Like, I was born in it. It shaped me. I've got practice at this. I have to work at being this calm and this nice. And if you don't think I'm nice and you don't think I'm calm, you should have seen me 5 years ago, okay? Like, I have to, like, it took a lot of work and psychedelics and therapy to get here. So if you want me to dip back into that, it's there. Like, and it's not that far away from me doing it, you know? Like, I'm ready. So, no, but it's good. I'm excited. Overall, this has been positive. Big City Rays crushing it. Chicago's great. There's, like, we had Ethiopian food on, like, for our first night out. We went and, like, walked to Ethiopian food. I want to say, what day was that? I don't remember what day we went, but, like, we went out to dinner, went to Ethiopian food, we walked there, that was great. Like, walking and public transportation is so much better than driving. Like, I'm so much more inclined to go do things when I don't have to, like, drive somewhere. Like, I will ride the bus for 40 minutes versus driving 15 minutes any day, because that time I can, like, do shit. I can, like, or when I'm walking, I can, like, see things and I can absorb things, and I'm getting a little bit of exercise in while I'm doing it. So like in our neighborhood, we walked to like a bomb ass Ethiopian place, and like the Wisconsin mind of like the people that I lived around couldn't wrap their head around that, right? Like the lady at the Target that was checking us out had a Protect Trans Kids t-shirt on, and I was like, I just need you to know where I lived last week. They might set you on fire. I don't know, like in front of the whole town. If you wore that at the Target that I went to all the time, you wouldn't be allowed in that place. And she's like, oh, well, this is the gay Target. Only 2 straight people work here. And it's like, sick. Like, I love it. So it's cool. Like, that would make people's heads explode that I was trying to get away from. And it's just so nice to be in a spot that's like, see, just people being fucking loud. I don't even know if you can hear it, but like, I mean, it's kids. Like, they're allowed to be loud. But like, what the fuck are we doing? Why do we need to be this loud? But no, it's like nice. It's like everything's inclusive. Everybody's cool. You can even like there was a fucking there was a younger guy who I think was non-binary making fun of bisexual women the other day. And like people were uptight about it. And you're like, it's so cool being in a spot where like somebody who's non-binary is making fun of bisexual women and bisexual women are pissed at them, but like they can't throw a fit because they're non-binary. So like you have like that weird clash of like the we identify as something groups like just being mad at each other. Like that's so fun. Instead of it being so sequestered or like, oh, trans things are weird or like boys and girls go to different bathrooms. Like we actually can like talk about like how nonsensical the things are in these things and then get pissy. Like it's so fun. It's like maybe fun's not the word. And like as a cis white man, I can put that in there with a little bit of spite. But like that's what I am. We've been in control for a long, long time. I understand that. But like it's fun being on the outside looking in and like things that like I can't maybe just like stand on a hill and die on that hill, watching other people who are like in those communities being like, oh no. The problem is that they're right about this. And like that's fun to be like, okay, I'm not crazy. Like for some like random white girl in fucking Wisconsin to tell me that like thoughts that I'm having as a white man aren't normal, to come down here and have some like non-binary person be like, oh no. The problem with you guys is that like you're proving the straights correct. And it's like, okay, like at least I'm right. Like maybe it's not like the best look, or like I'm not gonna die on the hill, or I'm not gonna be like, hey, do you know what? Get your shit together. But at least it's nice to know that I'm not wrong, or that I'm not crazy for like noticing this. Like, cool, somebody's doing the work. Like, it's good. And it's not like even in like a weird thing where like if you say that, like you would have to like bend over backwards around people who don't have to like interact or aren't actively interacting with different groups and different like creeds, colors, sexuality, stuff like that. Like it's so normal and inclusive, and like it's built into like the society here that like, okay, cool, we can have these conversations and we can make these like off-color jokes and we can do these things because like it's so built into where we're at. It's not like it's not like it's not happening there and then you're just making the joke and people are like, we have no idea, but it sounds like you're just being mean. We're here, like half the room can think it's hilarious because it's right, and the other half can think that it's mad because they are what they're getting made fun of for, and they know that it's true, but like they like that's their special thing. So it's nice. It's nice to be in a spot where you don't have to like pretend things are a way that they aren't. And it's cool to like be here in this time where it's like, all right, cool, everybody's special. But like you're not helping us by claiming to be special and not doing special things. It's very fun, it's very nice. And like you would think anytime somebody's like, yeah, you can't do jokes about anything anymore and politically correct and blah, 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 like they're taking away humor and killing like, no, they're making it better. Like there's a sassy, like, the fucking mic that I was at, they were doing a drag queen roast. Like, drag queens were roasting each other. And they were, like, vile to each other. And it's like, people think, like, on the outside looking in, that you're supposed to, like, support them, because otherwise you're going to show weakness and, like, you're not going to be together. It's like, no, they hate each other too. All right? It's not like you're gay, you're a drag queen, you're non-binary, you're bisexual, you are whatever you are, but you're still annoying. Like, it's part, like, you're not special here for being that. Like, that's, yeah, you're just a person and people are annoying, and that's so great. Like, that's what makes places like this perfect, is because you can be like, yeah, man, sometimes bisexual chicks who just date white dudes are fucking annoying because they make their life, like, you're at the Pride Parade talking about how you're fucking special when, like, you're in a heterosexual relationship, and you just think girls are hot. Cool. Like, that's not a me statement. That's a so many people statement. And it's fun watching gay people take down bi. It's so fun because it's not like a hateful thing. It's not a punching down thing, because, like, they're also on the flag. They're also in the LGBTQIA plus community. Like, it's punching sideways. Like, if I'm on stage going on a big, like, anti-bi rant and not even trying to make it funny, that's mean. But if somebody who's, like, actually bisexual or non-binary or gay or in a dress as a man, like, going after somebody who's also, like, that's fun. And that's funny because, like, that's what it's all about. Like, it's not punching down, it's not punching up, it's not punching, it's just pointing out a fact, and you don't have to justify it. So, like, and it's made it even more clear to me when, like, other, like, straight white podcasters or internet people, like, you can tell that they're just doing it to get in that lane and to get clicks and get, like, anger views, which is wild. And, like, good for you. That's, like, that's where the money is now. But what happens when, like, the winds change and, like, this kind of nonsense where it's like, we're going for clicks, we're going for views? What happens when that's gone and now you just have a record of you being vile for no reason? Right? Like, that's not a good thing. Like, yeah, some of the things that I say aren't going to age well, and I'm perfectly fine with that. I don't think I'm coming from places in, like, a bad side of things. Like, I think I come from, like, a happier, kinder side of things. Some people may disagree, and that's fine. But I also think that, like, it's cool. Like, if I'm perfectly fine with some things I say aging incorrectly, because that means society's moving forward. I don't think I'm outwardly being hateful towards anybody. But, like, the people who are like, oh, you can't even talk about gay things anymore, or you can't even talk. It's like, yeah, you can't talk about them the way that you talk about them. You could talk, gay people are people. You can talk about how annoying they are about certain things, because most gay people are just boring. Like, they're just people hanging out, watching fucking Netflix, like, watching stupid shit, going to fucking farmers markets like I do with my girlfriend. They're just normal fucking people doing normal fucking things. And yeah, they're annoying sometimes too. And they just happen to be gay. We can talk about that. What we can't talk about is, like, gay people are annoying. No, everybody's annoying sometimes. But, like, you can use that to punch it up as long as it's nice. But to be like, we can't talk about anything anymore. They're censoring us. They won't let us talk about any. It's like, no, you're not trying. You're saying it to be mean, to get likes. You're not talking about it to talk about it, to have a discussion. Everybody loves having discussions. And, like, even, like, the, oh, I shouldn't have to tell you kind of people. Those people don't exist in the real communities that, like, happen. Anytime I've wanted to have that discussion with somebody in a different community than I'm involved in, maybe it's annoying to them, but I think that, like, when they see that someone's genuinely interested, like, I don't, like, if you come to it like, hey, what's the deal with being gay? Why can't we make jokes? Who's the top? Who's the bottom? You really like, like, you can't, like, that's weird. Like, yeah, obviously nobody wants to have that conversation, but if you're like, so, like, bisexual and, like, dating another, like, what's up with that? And it's like, oh, you still think, like, cool, all right, whatever. it's kind of weird that you need to put like a statement on thinking girls are hot at the same time as dudes. Like, everybody thinks that sexuality is a spectrum. So like, why don't we just like all act accordingly instead of trying to be special about what part of the spectrum we're on? Then we can move. Like, it's a conversation. It's not like a yelling thing. It's when you're being a cunt that people are shitty about it and like don't want to talk to you about it. And honestly, I think that like more people are chill than you would think. Like, the same thing with politics right now. 99% of the people I know are very liberal, but like, we can have a conversation about how fucked up Joe Biden is. Do you know who has a problem with talking about how fucked up Joe Biden is? People who aren't actually in fucking society, or are so like bought into like their identity of being like, the world's going to end if Joe Biden's not. Like, they're worried about losing their specialness. They don't care about like actual society. They don't care about the country being better. They care about winning and being attached to like, oh, Donald Trump's the end of the world. He sucks. We're all on the same page. I don't think anybody likes him except for like crazy fucking people, right? And people who want to rock the boat. He's gonna win, and I don't want him to, and we're probably gonna be under whatever Project 2025, but like, hey, we can still demand that fucking Joe Biden gets his head out of his ass, or Kamala gets her head out of her ass. Like, the Democrats get their head out of their fucking ass, literally get their donkey heads out of their donkey asses. Like, we can still expect that. We want a good candidate. Who cares if it's going to be harder to get them elected? Guess what? It's going to, like, hard things are worth doing. And like, those conversations are worth having. It's only the people who like refuse to like want to do the hard thing and actually want to know things and actually want to learn and actually want society to be better. Those are the people who shout other people down. Those are the people who don't want to have conversations. Those are the people who quote unquote cancel people. And those are even less than like the people. They're the same people as like the vile people saying shit to get views. The same people who are like, we need to do this because it's the only way to do it, and we can't fucking do it. And it's like, no, like, that's not how things fucking work. All right, you see it working in other countries, like they fucking like France and the UK and England like recently just became more liberal, and that like happened very quickly. We can fucking do it. Like, we don't need to fucking move further to the right to get more people into it. We need to have an alternative to the right, not sway people from the right to us. We need to have a viable alternative. So people like me, so people like independent voters who say that there's not much of a difference between the two parties, other than like abortion. Even the Republicans are like adopting a lighter stance on abortion just to get elected. They're gonna like take away your right to choose. We're all on the same page, but like, at least publicly they're like softening their stance on it because like they know that that's something that they need to do, because they actually like to be political and like win elections. The Democrats don't, because they just want to raise money off of stuff. But like, you have that, and you have the conversation. Like, you can do it. There's not much of a difference between the two parties right now, because it's like, this is the end of democracy, or it's the way to save democracy, and everything's still going to be shitty. How about we like have an option where things aren't dire? Like, how about we have an option of like, hey, you know who is good at, like, we need an Obama, like, hope and change. Sure, hope and change was, like, it didn't happen, but, like, gaslight me again, daddy. Like, come on. We need somebody to at least, like, make us think that there's a way out of this, all right? Instead of, like, there being no way out of it, everybody knowing there's no way out of it, and then some people being like, this is the only way that we need to have no way out of it. You know what I mean? Like, how do you want the Titanic to sink? Do you want us to like slide against the iceberg and sink slowly, or do we want to hit the iceberg head on and sink quickly? Like, we want to make sure that we swipe the iceberg so we have a chance to make it better afterwards. Like, okay, cool, but like, we're voting for the iceberg. Like, we're not, like, you know what I mean? Like, however the fuck we're doing it, we're still voting for the iceberg. And we need, I don't know, how about we have like not icebergs. Like, how about we have a path that's like not in the North Atlantic in the fucking winter when like icebergs happen? How about we do that? It's possible. Oh, but like it's gonna be like a fast change and things are gonna be difficult. Cool. Things are difficult now. Things are difficult now when like the whole thing was like we're gonna vote for Biden so like we can finally relax for once in the last fucking 4 years. We haven't relaxed. Trump hasn't gone anywhere. Inflation's terrible. Fucking I moved from the suburbs of Milwaukee to Chicago where everybody says everything's so expensive. Groceries cost the same here. Groceries cost the same here as they do in the fucking suburbs of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Sure, rent's higher here, gas is higher. Like, other things are more expensive here because it's a city, and that's going to happen. That's the supply and demand. But, like, groceries are the same price here, all right? Going out to eat is $20, $30 more here. That's not that crazy compared to, like, you would think that it would be way more than going out to eat in the fucking suburbs. Like, things aren't good now under the fucking corpse that we have as president and his administration that's running things. That's not him. They keep him in a closet and roll him out when he has to be out there. All right, they're not doing a good job. And your only argument to keep him in there is like it saves democracy. The last time I checked, democracy's not doing too hot anyways because of the two-party system that we kind of fucked ourselves into. But whatever, that ended up being a weird rant. This is a little bit longer than it usually is, but no, things are good, things are fun. We have a lot of work to do to fix certain things, and we have a lot of work to do at Mike's and whatnot. But as usual, whoisrayroberts.com, at whoisrayroberts on everything. Join the Patreon, still figuring out what I want to do with that. Thank you to the people who are patrons. It's weird times right now. We have the email list. That's in all of my social media. Sign up for the email list. The plan is to do the podcast, then have the newsletter come out. Not like newsletter, but like it accompanies the thing like once a month or once every other week or so. So like we've got some fun stuff going on. We're upping the content level. We're doubling down on stand up. So it's going to be fun. So join the email list, follow on everything, share the stuff. Just throw me money. That's cool. The city's expensive. Everything's expensive. And making money with words isn't the easiest thing in the world. So, I don't know. Follow, like, subscribe. Rate the podcast. I know I don't do that enough, but rate it on everything that you have on there. We've got a few good 5-star ratings. That's awesome. Thank you to everybody who's done that. So please continue to do that. If you haven't rated it yet, just go on your podcast app, hit the 5 stars, put a few words that it makes you put in there, say how great it is. So like we get into the sway of things. All right. Like I'm starting to use this thing as like a credit, and people are interested in the podcast, and people who I talk to seem to like it. So why not spread it? Like, you want to be part of the community, we can make this a community. It'd be fun if there was a Netflix doc about how this podcast turned into an actual cult at some point. And I promise, if it turns into a cult, I don't want to bang your wife, okay? So, I don't know. Join it. It's fun. It's stupid. And thanks as always. I appreciate you. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.